everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. At the time you're seeing this, it's February, the month of love, where corporations make us buy lots of things to show our affection for our loved ones instead of being like, you know, just do something meaningful that maybe doesn't cost money. But as it's also my birthday month, it's also all about me. So at least I want it to be. So how do we combine the month of love and the month of my birth? I get to tell you my favourite love songs. In keeping with this channel's musical theatre/theatre theme, these are, in no particular order, my top 12 musical theatre love songs. You don't need to agree with them. If you disagree, let me know in the comments and tell me what a trash list I made. But I was just thinking about the songs that I like, and so I wanted to talk about them for you all in this wonderful month of affection. So yeah, I will leave links to all of the songs in the description if you want to have a listen and check them out if you are not familiar. And yeah, let's just get straight to it, guys. Song number 1 is Sarah Brown Eyes from the musical Ragtime. If you've been on this channel for even a little bit of time, you probably knew that a Ragtime song was going to be on this list. Ragtime, my favourite musical. Sarah, not even low-key, high-key, my dream role. Will it happen? We're just gonna have to wait and see if someone wants to like revive it, not as an actor-musician show. But until that time, you know, we can just try and manifest it, guys. But yeah, I love Ragtime. Some of you, if you're familiar with Ragtime, might be thinking, Michaela, why isn't new music on this list? For me, personally, new music just doesn't hit in that way. It's a beautiful song, don't get me wrong, and it's got great layers, and we're not talking about that song. Just stop talking about the song that's not on the list, Michaela. The reason that Sarah Brown Eyes made this list, I love that it's the beginning of the flirtation. I like how simple it is, but there's still that air of seduction. And then, let's be honest, Brian Stokes Mitchell's voice also makes me just want to have his baby. You know, his voice is so good. Seduce me with your piano hands, piano man. Thank you so much. If someone was to play that song and serenade, you know what? If when I get married, I think Sarah Brown Eyes is having to make some kind of appearance, even if it's just like an instrumental while you're doing all the paperwork, you know, when you've got to like sign all the forms and your witnesses are like, yes, these people are legally married or whatever. Like, Sarah Brown Eyes is making an appearance in my wedding. It's decided, because I'm not planning on dumping Josh. Josh, when you watch this, make a note. So yeah, I love this song. I love singing it to myself. I just think it's so pure. I also think it's so bittersweet in the context of the show and the time that it comes. No spoilers on what happens in case you haven't seen it, because I don't want to spoil that journey for you. I love it. I love it, hands down. It's my favorite love song. So yes, that is number 1. Number 2 on the list, and I slightly hate myself for putting this on the list, but I was like, you know what, it's my list, I can justify it. Not Come From Away, that's a musical. See, my brain just doesn't want me to say the title of this song. Come What May from Moulin Rouge. I'll be honest, I like the film version, but because the film has been made into a musical, it counts. If you've seen my I Need to Talk About Moulin Rouge video, you might have an inkling of how I feel about Moulin Rouge, the musical adaptation, but I love the film. I think the film is great. And I legitimately love the song Come What May. I think it really captures, especially in that first verse, the kind of wonder of being in love, especially for the first time. Obviously, well, we don't really know about not Christine. Oh my god, I always want to call Satine Christine. Some weird like mashup of the one with the guy with a mask and the face, Phantom of the Opera, and Moulin Rouge. Like, that would be a weird mashup. Obviously, we don't know if Satine has been in love before, but definitely for Christian, who wrote the song in the story, he's in love for the first time, and I think the song just perfectly encapsulates that wonder. The sensations that you feel are so new and unlike anything that you've ever felt before. I also think the melody is just beautiful and sweeping. Love a sweeping melody. A love song has to have a good melody. I'm sorry. It just does. You've got to be able to Sing out, Louise, with a good love song. Also, dramaturgically, in terms of the storytelling, I love that Come What May is the only song that isn't a pop song. In a basically jukebox film or jukebox musical, it's the one original, and I love that their love song is the one original. And yeah, I legit think it's a really good song, and in terms of stage musicals, I wish it was in a better show, but that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. It's a beautiful song, love it. Moving on. Stop right there. Song number 3 is Stop the World from Come From Away. Again, if you've been on this channel for any length of time, you probably knew that a song from Come From Away was going to be on this list, because I freaking love that show, and I'm really sad that at the time of filming this it is closed. But it is going on a UK tour, so if it's coming to a place near you, go and see it. I think it's also playing in Australia, and I'm pretty sure it's playing somewhere in the US. Hopefully it's touring, but like, if you can see the show, just go and see it. Plug for Come From Away over. But Stop the World, I think it is such a beautiful song. I love listening to it. It gets me in my feels. Number 1, I love that it's a love song about 2 older people. If you haven't seen the show, this isn't really a spoiler in terms of the plot, but Diane is a divorced woman with a grown-up son. Nick is a professional who is traveling on business. They are older people, they have lives, they have history. So I love that it's a love song that isn't just about 2 young people being like, oh, I'm in love for the first time. Helpless. Even though I love Helpless, as I've just said. No, I haven't said. Helpless is coming up, stay tuned. I love the fact that there's a whole song about them just not saying what they want to say, and it's devastating. If you watch the show, it's devastating to watch, because you're just watching these 2 people and you're like, no, just say what you want to say. But then also you understand, because it's like, according to them, they're gonna like be leaving any day, and then they're never gonna see each other again because they're from opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean. And it's like, oh, it's just like all of these feelings, and it's such a heightened situation that they're in, no spoilers, and it's just, oh, it's so good. It's such a good song. And then you've got the ensemble underneath it with the R's, and then the staging in the show, because it's very kind of stripped back and ensemble based, is just like so simple but so effective, and it's, oh, so good, so good. Oh, I love that song. So yes, definitely deserves to be on this list. Now going back to Helpless, song number 4 is Helpless. I know I just ragged on it, but you know, you can't not love Helpless. Little fun personal fact for you guys. When me and Josh were first starting to see each other, I was in my like obsessive listening to the Hamilton cast recording phase. I would go to work, because we met at work, I would go to work listening to this song and just singing it to myself, being like, I do, I do, I do, I do, because I was totally in like the new relationship phase. And I'm a basic bitch at heart. But that's what I love about this song. Firstly, just straight up, it's a bop, it's a tune. You can dance around your room listening to it, it's that kind of song, right? But secondly, more on a intellectual, dramaturgical point of view, don't know why I'm doing that, like, oh, look at me, I'm so like cultured. It perfectly encapsulates that young, youthful frivolity and excitement of a new romance, you know? You listen to that song and you can immediately put yourself in that kind of first romance or early phases of a romance feeling, and I just love it. It's so pure, it's so joyous, it's so absent of any weight. It's a vibe. I love it. Number 5 is Without Love from Hairspray. I'm gonna be honest, there is no intellectual reason for this song to be in this list. I don't have as much of a emotional connection with this song as some of the others, but I love this song. It is a kind of like Helpless. It's a bop, it's a vibe, it's a moment. It's like a lot of fun. It's just so light, and it's just light and fun. And we need some light and fun in our lives, because Lady Rona might be gone in theory, but like the world's still falling apart. Like, it's still a pretty bad place to be. So let's go with like a week that's only Mondays, only ice cream, never Sundays. That lyric makes no sense. Why are they singing? Those are bad things. Sorry, I need to figure out why that lyric is in there, because that lyric's not making sense in my head right now. Living in the ghetto, black is everywhere goes, and in a running there's winds, why winter, and my every time I was so it's never, no, I take each other, and I'm never gonna remember without love. Apollo. Oh, because life is like those things. Yes, it does make sense. In context, it makes sense. I just jumped in at the bit where I was like, I don't have the context for why you're singing about these bad things, but it's because life is like those bad things without love. There we go. Oh, this is the quality content that I'm putting out this year. Anyway, it's just a bop, it's a tune. It's about teenagers overcoming, you know, racial segregation with the power of love, and like, we stan. And again, it's like an ensemble song, so I don't know what I'm trying to justify. Like, I've already said there's no real reason, I just like it. And it's my list, it's my birthday month. I can just put things in this list because I like them. So that's what this song is. Moving on. Song number 6 is 1 Second and a Million Miles from The Bridges of Madison County. I feel like no one talks about The Bridges of Madison County anymore. I have listened to the full cast recording. It was a few years ago, and I have not thought about this musical since coming up with this list and remembering that this song exists. And this song is the only song I really remember from the cast recording. Even though I haven't thought about this musical in a long time, I do really love this song. Sweeping melody, love that in a love song. It is more of a guy's song than a girl's song, although the Francesca character does have "All my life I have been falling," which sits in a really comfortable place, which is lovely, and it's like, oh, feelings. But this song is pretty much all about the guy, and Stephen Pascal, when he sings this in the cast recording, oh my god. It's like a complete sploosh moment. When he does the "You and I have just 1 second," which obviously for a dude, that's way more impressive than me singing it, because it's like, okay, high alto. It's just so, oh, it's so hot. I'm sorry, it is. Do I need to mark this video not safe for work? Anyway, it is darn sexy, and just the line, and it's just so, the mix is beautiful. And then on the flip side, not talking about the singing aspect of it, I'm just a sucker for a 6/8 driving piano accompaniment Jason Robert Brown moment. I'm imagining the bit where it's like, wherever, da, da, I can't remember the words, we're not breaking, I'm not leaving you, and it goes into that bit, and then just like the strings come in, and it's, oh, it's so good. So good tune. That's a long way of saying that, like, I just loved Stephen Pascal's voice and I want to marry it. So yeah. Number 7 is On the Street Where You Live from My Fair Lady. Firstly, you didn't think I was going to get all the way through this list without having at least one Golden Age musical song in this list. Of course I was. Number 2, My Fair Lady is one of my favourite Golden Age musicals, so yeah. Number 3, it means I get to put in a song that isn't problematic, like What's the Use of Wondering? What is that about? If you know, you know. On the Street Where You Live, I kind of love the purity of it. I love how it's just this guy who's completely head over heels of this crazy woman who swears at Ascot, and he's just wandering up and down her road being like, oh, everything's amazing, I'm high on life. I love that for him. I get why Eliza doesn't end up with Freddie, because it's like, spoilers, sorry, because it's like, honey, sweetie baby, sweet summer child, you don't even know you were born. So like, I get it, but like, he seems like a really sweet guy. Yeah, he's probably a bit of an idiot, but like, if someone sang this song to me outside my window, I'd be like, yeah, all right, you can take me out for dinner. I like where it sits in the male voice, not just for guys, but for girls. When you have these love songs that are like, they get so high in the vocal register and it just feels like the two people are screaming at each other, and you're like, oh, this is not romantic. You're just shouting at each other's faces. Insert every like 80s mega musical ever. On the Street Where You Live sits in a really beautiful place where it goes high enough that you can feel like musically it shows the emotional force of what the character's expressing, but it's not so high that it feels like the guy is shouting. It's concise, it does what it needs to do, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's really, really beautiful and so emblematic of the character as well. So yeah, that is On the Street Where You Live. Number 8 is Legally Blonde from Legally Blonde. Is Legally Blonde from Legally Blonde a love song? Debatable. But A, there isn't really a love song in Legally Blonde, I don't think. No, there isn't. And second of all, like, I think it has enough of the love elements that for me it counts. I really love this song, and I love the storytelling of the love story within this song. I won't spoil it, although if you've not seen the musical and you've not seen the film, then like, where have you been? You've got to at least have seen the film. Come on, it's iconic. It does such a good job of getting you emotionally invested in what these two characters are going through. You've got Elle going through her whole situation of being like, everything that I've started to believe in and thought I was doing so well at is seemingly a lie. And then you've got this guy who's like, oh my god, I'm falling in love with you and you're about to leave. When he goes, if you can hear, can I just say how much I want you to stay? I love how understated that is. I love how it goes into the male falsetto. Again, just like the antithesis to the we're screaming in each other's faces because we're so in love. I love how intimate the scene is. Oh, it's such a good song. And it's such a good Emmett song. It's like, I love those songs, especially duets, where they make you want to sing the other part. It would be great to play the My Life's Falling Apartness of Elle, but it would also be lovely to play the love realization of Emmett. When I first heard they were doing Legally Blonde the musical, I was like, this is gonna be trash, but it's so well done. It's so good. It doesn't take it. You know what? Let's do a comparing Legally Blonde to its adaptation. Let's do that. Because I now want to talk about Legally Blonde, but this is not what this video is about, Michaela. Number 9 is Falling Slowly from Once. I'm apparently just a sucker for folky musicals that have been at the Phoenix Theatre in London, because both Once and Come From Away are the only musicals that I've paid to see 3 times, which is the most I've ever paid to see one show. Yeah, I freaking love Once, and to be honest, as I was chatting through what I was gonna say about this, I realised there are actually so many good love songs in Once, like Gold. Gold is a beautiful love song, so I'm changing Falling Slowly from Once to just every love song in Once from Once. Let's start with Falling Slowly. I love how bittersweet it is, how seemingly simple it is in terms of the melody. The opening accompaniment with the piano is just so bare and stripped back, and it's kind of like bearing your soul, you know, that whole idea of not really understanding why you feel the way you feel, like that opening lyric of I don't know you but I want you all the more for that. And it's just I love how poetic the language is, but it's still simple. Like, the words used aren't hyperbolic in any way, they aren't fancy or flowery, but just like the way the words are put together and the lyrics are constructive and the imagery is used is so poetic. That's the same with Gold as well. Like, I'm walking on moonbeams. It's just a beautiful, beautiful image. I mean, this is also another song slash musical that for me has kind of an emotional attachment. Like, I was really on the Once hype train, like when I was in between university and going to drama school. I was making awful decisions in my love life. I would listen to the cast recording of this musical while getting this coach to this holiday park in the middle of nowhere, and I felt so alone and I hated it, and I had no internet access, and I would be listening to this musical being like, falling slowly, my love life's a mess. I have a deep connection with this musical. The point is, the songs in Once are just so beautiful, they're so emotional, I love them, and that is why they are in this list. I would say, if you're looking for like songs to actually listen to that are gonna make you feel romantic, listen to Gold. Maybe don't listen to Falling Slowly, because it does have that bittersweetness to it, whereas Gold is more like, yeah, we're in love in a Irishy poetic way, whereas Falling Slowly is more kind of sad Irish beauty. Anyway, so that's Falling Slowly / Gold / all of the other love songs in that show. Number 10 is Loving You from Passion, the first of two problematic faves. This problematic fave is because of the context of this song. Within the context of this musical, where the person singing this song has a very, like, at best, just a very unhealthy attachment to this man that she's not actually in a relationship with, at worst is being, like, actively, abusively manipulative of him and his feelings. This is not a really nice love song. But outside of that context, if you just strip it away from the show that it's in, this song is freaking beautiful. It's a Stephen Sondheim, which, you know, we love a Stephen Sondheim. He's so good at writing thoughts. Sorry, my brain could not live up to the genius of Stephen Sondheim. I'm so sorry. But like, he's just so good at taking human thoughts and emotions and putting them into song, both musically and lyrically, in my opinion. I also love with this song, because the character is so over the top, how the lyric doesn't shy away from expressing the depth of the emotion that Fosca feels. I feel like that's something that we don't really do in definitely British culture, but I also think kind of just the dominant Anglophone culture. I'll just speak for Brits for the time being, but like, Brits, we're definitely not comfortable with expressing depth of emotion verbally. If you've ever seen or read Pride and Prejudice, you know what I mean. It'd be really difficult to say in words to someone's face, this is why I live, you are why I live. That's such a beautiful thing, and it's completely truthful. It's a completely truthful thought. Fosca's not saying that hyperbolically. The context of like what the actual character is going through, you know, that is a thing. But just the song out of context, I do think is a really beautiful love song. I feel like it's really understated. I love that it's not a big belty thing. It's an alto song. It's rich. It's, in terms of the sound quality, it's just like, this is it. I'm laying it all out and I'm saying 100% of how I feel. I'm not holding things back out of fear or wanting to appear like what I'm not. I'm just laying it all on the line, and I think that's really, really beautiful. Don't manipulate people though, that's not nice. Anyway, yeah, so that's Loving You from Passion. I've run out of fingers. Well, there we go. Number 11 is Take Me or Leave Me from Rent. The second of our problematic faves, just because Rent is inherently problematic. Is this a love song? Again, I think it could be debatable, but if you are a musical theatre kid, a millennial musical theatre kid specifically, maybe also, no, you'll be an early millennial up. Gen Z, do you really watch Rent? Did you figure out it was problematic before the rest of us? Let me know in the comments. But like, if you're a millennial and you're a musical theatre kid, do not tell me that you did not sing this song. Do not tell me that when you were at a house party, I'm talking specifically university here. Am I talking about my own experience? Yes, I am. Do not tell me you were never at a house party with all the other musical theatre people, or at a karaoke with musical theatre people where they had musical theatre options in the songs, or you've been out on a musical theatre society social night out. You've been to Jesters. Yes, I went to Southampton University. You've been to Jesters, or you've been to, what was the other one that wasn't like Jester because there was less vomit on the floor, but it was like next door. Oh, I cannot remember, it was so long ago. But like, you've been out in Portswood, you're walking back home to your house and you're belting this song at the top of your lungs while swinging around on lampposts with one of your best musical theatre girlfriends, and you both know exactly who's gonna do which harmony, and you do it, and then at the end you're doing all of the lyrics in between as well. You're doing all of the speech, you're doing everything. So you're belting at each other's faces. It's 1 in the morning, you've got cheesy chips, and you're like, guess I'm leaving, I'm gone. Do not tell me that you did not do that, because you did. Do not lie. It was a formative part of your musical theatre education. It is such a fun sing. It's just pure belty, loving yourself. Both characters, like, Is Maureen problematic because she's doing the whole slutty bisexual stereotype? Yes. Is that a problem in the writing? Yes. But, like, we stand this song, guys. I cannot express... I cannot express just how much visceral joy I get when thinking about this song. Oh my gosh. Bringing it back to love songs and February, I think that is kind of... I mean, it's a very... when was Rent written? Like the late 80s, 90s, early 90s? It's a very, like, of its time kind of version of man writing kind of strong feminist women. There's not a lot of wiggle room for, like, compromise, but it's still freaking fun. So it's on this list. It's on this list. It's my list. Disagree with me in the comments. It helps my engagement. Yay! And finally, number 12 is All the Wasted Time from Parade. Another JRB song. He got 2 in. Well done, JRB. Firstly, let me just say, I think Parade is my favourite Jason Robert Brown musical. I feel like someone was able to rein him in with the song lengths. I mean, the Schmool song. I mean, the whole of the last 5 years, just like... Why do we need 8-minute songs, dude? But secondly, this song specifically, kind of similar to Stop the World, I like that it's a song that is not about young love. But unlike Stop the World, it's not two older people who are falling in love with each other for the first time. It is two people who had, let's say, fallen out of love if the love was ever truly there to begin with, and are like discovering or rediscovering their affection for each other. Kind of like in Loving You from Passion, where it's like, this is fully how I feel. This is the first time these two characters are doing that with each other, and they're freaking married. From a dramatic standpoint, that's really exciting to see. I think it's always interesting when you don't just get the whole boy meets girl kind of love story, when there's something different going on. This song, I'm gonna be honest, it does kind of suffer from the shouting in each other's faces syndrome. It does go quite high in both registers. Not so high that it sounds strained, but it is definitely like a, we're singing at each other, but this is also quite near the end of the show. So I think by this point, with everything that's happened, they've earned it. And also the song itself starts more understated and builds up to that. So like by the time it's getting to like, and all the wasted time, you know, they've earned all of that belting each other's faces over a picnic, so it's okay. And then finally, like, I just love a sweeping orchestral-y score. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because there's like full-on woodwind in the cast recordings of Parade. There's 2 different cast recordings. It's pretty fully orchestrated, and I'm a sucker for anything fully orchestrated. It was the only thing, in my opinion, that Phantom of the Opera had going for it, and then they cut half the orchestra. Yeah, so just the score is just so beautiful in this song, and it's just like, oh, love it. So yeah, so that is why it is number 12. So those were my personal, in no particular order, top 12 musical theatre love songs. What are your favourite musical theatre love songs? Did you agree with my list? Did you disagree with my list? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions and get some suggestions of extra listening of some other songs. Obviously, this was not an exhaustive list. You may have noticed that A Little Fall of Rain didn't make it on this list because that is a stupid song. Marius, you don't love her. Why are you singing a love duet with her? Firstly, and secondly, I'm not saying Eponine deserved to die. She didn't. I'm just saying if she was gonna sacrifice herself, she could have done it for less of a wet fish. And that's that on that. That is how I feel. I can't say why none of the Phantom songs made it in. You know, it's a bit obvious, isn't it? So that was this month's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Would love to have you on the channel. Come on down. We have a great time listing my favourite songs because it's my channel and I can do what I want. That sounded way more sassy than I meant. I'm so sorry. But I'm not cutting it. Stay tuned for more theatre content from a UK perspective, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, friends!